Good evening, sir.
Ma'am, good evening. How are you?
I'm fine.
Good, good. So tomorrow my session is there, right?
Yes, sir.
Very good, very good.
Uh,
So there are about 280 candidates are participating. A very good participation. I didn't
no,
expect
sir.
this, ma'am.
We circulated directly to the Zoom. I think till now some 600 plus registered, sir.
Oh, great. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I think Dr. Sukhvinder Singh. Good evening.
Yes, very good evening, ma'am. And thank you so much for inviting me. And I wish you best of luck for this faculty development program. Let me know when I start the presentation.
Yeah, I think it is just one speaker, so I'll be speaking. I think you remember me. I spoke to you 3 weeks before.
Yes, absolutely.
Extremely happy to meet you through Zoom, and
Glad to be
I
here, ma'am.
hope to see you soon.
Sure, absolutely.
And can you actually forward your full CV to me? I would like to share it with my head office, Geneva, Switzerland, because
Okay.
they are collecting speakers' details from all over the world. So I would like to share your details also with them. And
Sure.
I could see a lot of information about you. You are the CEO and the founder of Edoxia group of institutions.
No, I'm not the CEO and the founder. I'm actually the chief general manager. I'm the registrar of Edoxia Research University, and I'm handling operations for Edoxia Research Center in India. So we are from the
one place it is mentioned that you're a founder and CEO.
Okay, no. Please do not make that mistake. I'm not the founder and the CEO of Edoxia. It is for the founder and CEO of Edoxia is Professor Dr. Rituraj Saikia, our president from the university.
Really glad to meet you. Welcome, Dr. Joseph Dunstan. Good evening. Dr. Joseph Dunstan, good evening. And I also understand there is an office here in Bangalore also. I'm based in Bangalore.
Okay, excellent. We have also one office in Bangalore. Basically, it's our corporate office. We started actually from Bangalore in 2018.
Okay. Oh, that's
And
nice.
I was there in post-COVID. I was there in Bangalore only.
Okay. That's nice. Actually, there was an email today
Mhm.
and it is from IAISC Mumbai, India. And then is it related to you, sir?
Yes. It is our sister organization.
Okay, Dr. Namrata K.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it is mentioned Edoxia USA.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
asking to take membership. I think I'll take.
Absolutely, ma'am. So should I share my CV like on
You can just share and check it. Your video is good and your sound is also good. You can just share your PPT and take a practice.
Yeah, I will just check. Yeah. So just let me share. I'll just send. Okay, is my PPT is visible? My screen is paused.
Yeah, it is visible, sir. Can you make it to full screen?
Actually, it is full screen,
Full screen.
but
Just a second. Yes, sir. It's fine.
now is it full screen?
It is full screen.
So you can just see. Check. Yeah, my slides are moving, right?
No, sir. It's not moving. You're still in the first slide.
Okay, just hold on a moment. I will just, because there might be some issues with, I will just download this one.
Dr. Joseph Dunstan, could you please take yourself off unmute? Dr. Joseph Dunstan, you have to unmute. We have already 125 participants waiting, and we have participants from many countries. We'll ask them to introduce. Did you succeed, sir, in taking a practice? Close it and open again, sir.
Okay, I think my screen is visible, right?
Yes, it's visible.
Can you move it, sir? Yes, it's moving. Your PPT is very brilliant, beautiful, sir. It's AI. You're in mute.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. I think generally, normally I make PPTs for my research presentations, very short, but today is a longer presentation, so I will try to cope up with that.
Okay.
I think our Joseph Dunstan sir is here. Very good
Yeah,
evening to you.
he's here. He has some difficulty in unmuting. So I asked him to speak from his mobile.
Yeah.
So I think he's joined from 2 devices. We have the other speakers also, Mr. Joseph R. Cleo. Welcome, sir. Dr. Joseph Dunstan, welcome. Mr. Joseph R. Cleo, welcome. They have asked for 3 minutes. Apology for the delay. The one who's doing the prayer song, I think there is some difficulty in connecting. Dunstan, sir, can you speak from your mobile? Shall I put the link in your mobile? Dunstan, sir, I have shared it in your WhatsApp. He wants to talk to Dr. Sukhvinder Singh, but is not able to take himself off mute. He's dropped a message for you, sir.
Okay, I will just check. Yeah. Yeah, I think I've messaged sir back also.
Mr. Shushma, can you
Yes,
on
ma'am.
your video? Yes, can you on your video?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you will start with the prayer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It's already live. The webinar is live. Please go ahead. Ms. Sushma?
Ma'am, I think there is some issues with switching on the video. Can I
Okay.
just proceed?
Sure. Because we
Okay.
can't spotlight if the video is off, we cannot spotlight you. Okay, please go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
Please go
We'll begin the session with a small prayer. Heavenly Father, we gather before you as educators and learners, united in our quest for knowledge and growth. As we embark on this 6-day journey, we seek your guidance and wisdom. Bless our speakers and participants with clarity of thoughts, openness of heart, and a deep commitment to ethical teaching. May this program be a catalyst for innovation, integrity, and excellence in our academic endeavors. Help us to navigate the challenges of the digital era with compassion, wisdom, and a steadfast commitment to our students and society. Lord, we pray for your presence in our discussions, reflections, and learning. May our time together be enriched by your divine wisdom, and may we emerge from this program as empowered educators, equipped to shape young minds with wisdom, compassion, and truth. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Good evening, one and all present here. In the digital age, teachers have evolved from mere dispensers of knowledge to guides who empower learners to navigate the complexities of information and act with responsibility and ethics. I feel grateful every day for the opportunity to speak, be heard, and leverage my abilities to amplify others' voices and challenge perspectives. The Globethics vision of a society rooted in ethics is one we strive to bring to life, and today we take a significant step towards that goal. In collaboration with the DMI Engineering College, RLY Moli, we are launching this faculty development program on empowering faculty for ethical teaching in the digital era. Globethics has consistently provided a platform for knowledge creation grounded in ethics, paving the way for sustainability. This online FDP is a joint initiative between DMI Engineering College, RLY Moli, and Globethics South Asia Center. As the regional manager for Globethics South Asia, Bangalore, you may be aware of my name. I'm Rajula. I would like to acknowledge the presence of esteemed guest, Reverend Sister Dr. Orokya Mary, the administrator of DMI Engineering College, Dr. A. Albert Raj, the principal, DMI Engineering College, Dr. Joseph Dunstan, esteemed speaker of Globethics and also former vice chancellor with the St. Joseph University, Dimapur, Nagaland, and Dr. Pradibha from our partner institution. We also have our guest speaker, Dr. Singh, with us. I warmly welcome each of you to this program, believing it will be a valuable platform for refining the skills of teaching professionals to tackle challenges and make ethical decisions in their campuses, including the responsible use of AI tools. I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to all participants for joining us. Your enthusiastic response has been really overwhelming. To facilitate interaction, please use the chat box to introduce yourself with your name, place, and country. For questions, kindly post them in the Q&A box, and our speaker will address them to the best of their ability. Having said that, I take this opportunity to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Sukhvinder Singh, the Chief General Manager, Eudoxia Research Center, India, and also the Director, Research Beacon Publication. It's my pleasure that you all join me to welcome Dr. Sukhvinder Singh as our distinguished guest speaker. Dr. Singh currently serves as the Chief General Manager at Eudoxia Research Center, India, and also holds the position of Director at Research Beacon Publication. His professional journey reflects a strong commitment to research, innovation, and education at both national and international levels. Dr. Singh's core areas of expertise include corporate management, digital marketing, educational technology, research and innovation, intellectual property rights, entrepreneurship, skill education, and microbial screening and optimization. His multidimensional contributions bridge the gap between science, industry, and education. He earned his doctorate from the Helmholtz Center for Environmental Research, Leipzig, Germany, where his research focused on the pre-treatment of ligocellulosic materials with fungal enzymes to enhance biogas production. His academic and research foundation also includes significant roles at IIT Guwahati and collaborative projects with the German Biomass Research Center. Over the years, Dr. Singh has presented his work at numerous international conferences and symposia across Europe and Asia, including events in France, Germany, Denmark, Singapore, and India. His research has been published in reputed journals such as Applied Microbiology and Biotechnology, Industrial and Engineering Chemistry Research, and Biodegradation, showcasing his contributions to environmental biotechnology and sustainable practices. As a thought leader and mentor in the research community, Dr. Singh actively supports the integration of innovation in education and leadership development. His engagement in high-level workshops, policy conferences, and entrepreneurship initiatives reflects his dedication to driving impact beyond the lab. We are really honored to have Dr. Sukhwinder Singh with us today to address all of us on the topic, Teaching Ethics in the Digital Era, Balancing Teaching and Morality. And we look forward to the insights from him. He will share from his vast and inspiring journey in science, innovation, and leadership. I request all the panelists and the participants to virtually applaud Dr. Singh and to welcome him. Dr. Singh, hearty welcome to you. Please take over the floor.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for such an extended, wonderful. I'm so humbled at the same time. It's a great responsibility for me. Very warm welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from across the globe, those who have joined us in this wonderful, wonderful program. These programs are very, very important. This is the bedrock of our research and innovation to always make sure that we will have our informations flowed. We'll talk to each other in the form of symposiums, international conferences. We'll talk in our faculty development programs, which is important. And today, of course, I would like to also acknowledge the DMI Engineering College, the Honorable Principal, that is Dr. A. Albert Raj from the Engineering College. And also, I would like to have a acknowledgement for our beloved Professor Joseph Dunstan, sir, who has given me this opportunity. And of course, the collaborating partners, that is the Global Ethics from Southeast Asia, from Bangalore, India. So now let's dig into one very important topic. In the era of technology, in the era of digitalization, now we are coming towards artificial intelligence. Soon we'll talk about general intelligence, and maybe in the futures to come, we have so many things to explore. And today we will discuss one very important part, that is the ethics. As we know that our soul of every researcher or an academician or a teacher or every individual, ethics are very, very important. It is actually the foundations we can lay for our work. Sometimes the opportunities, the environment niche are such that we generally tend to have, we have certain options, but the options with ethics and morality is always very important. There are certain guidelines, laid in the morality, which is not written anywhere. It is just what we follow as it is embedded in our personality. And as an educationist, as a teacher, or as a scholar, it is our prime duty that we will hold this particular torch. So without any delay, let's start the presentation. I will try to sum up the presentations in two parts. First, of course, I will discuss about the ethics. I will discuss about how education, especially in the digital era, how education and now the integration of AI has done. Another chapter is being added in the ethics. So what are these ethics? How we can sustain that? What are the problems, challenges? And finally, because I'm a researcher, I always inquisitive about the publication aspects, and I know that all the faculty members are joining. I'm sure you also want to propagate your information or research in the form of publications. So I will also touch upon certain publications issues in ethics, and maybe I will give you an example for those who are from purely qualitative research background, that how in coming years or in coming months you can design your own research program plan, which is somehow kind of a mixed method in terms of education and digitalization and research ethics. We will keep it in sync, intact as well. So I would like to share my screen. So let's start with the important parameter, which is the digitalization. We'll discuss the digitalization as well. I would like to share my screen. So I think my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. So once again, let's dig into the entire focus today. And there are certain things we need to discuss and learn also. Since my expertise are on quantitative research, but in terms of especially if we discuss ethics and you know, in this digital era, it more tends towards the qualitative research. But today we will dissect that, because I want to do a balancing act in terms of how teaching versus morality, how teaching versus ethics are very important, and especially in this digital age, how we can move along this direction. So first, let's discuss certain topics which is very, very important, and in very we can say in 20th century, when in 70s or 80s, I think with the computers, with the introduction of technology, the digital era has become a very integral part of the success stories of different countries, which is, of course, regulated in terms of the ethics. So every researcher, every academician, even every teacher has always have one thing very, very common, which is how much integrity, how much honesty they have in terms of making sure that whatever the students are learning, they are learning with ethics, they're learning with honesty, and then they can channelize this part. Now, first of all, let's underline the importance of the ethics, where I'm sure all of you as a professor, as a teacher, you have seen, and also as a student, you have seen that you have certain favorite teachers, those who are impeccable in their morality, those who are very honest with their work, even when the circumstances or the niche is such that they can deviate from the morality, they won't. So these kind of people are actually our role models, and that is how my personal opinion is that whenever we do any work, whenever we do any research, well, the first prime importance is the honesty. With honesty, of course, you will be, your ethics will be intact. Today, we will discuss also different parts that how we can actually enhance this particular soft skills. Now, there are so many aspects to it, and people, often researchers are asking that you see that in the previous time, if you go post-digital era, the teachers are treated as gods. They are called the gurus. I think it still holds the value, and it will hold the value times to come, because this is what I feel is a kind of a timeless dimension. The teachers, we should always have respect, utter respects. But now you see that certain teachers has been replaced. Now, of course, we'll talk about the AI as well, is replaced. And also there is unclear understanding in education that how ethics are of prime importance. So today I will also highlight that particular aspect. Now, why this topic matters now and why we have to discuss, because this is the transition phase. You see, in the digitalization, now we are into the artificial intelligence. Everywhere you see there is people are looking for the apps, people are looking answers in chat GPT. Similarly, Grok is there. Of course, Elon Musk is not far behind. He has started Grok and then DeepSeek, which is using large LLM models and which is having the most potential, we can say, in terms of accurate depiction of intelligence in terms of your questions or your prompts, which is given. So all these AI tools are coming up, which has actually eased our way of what we call the monotonous work which we are doing. We can replace that by AI. But here comes the important question. In the digital transformation, especially during this transformation, we have seen in the previous eras, you see, when the computers have just arrived, especially those bigger companies, those who are into the e-commerce, they say that now they are, of course, the billion-dollar companies. Their standards, their elevation of their work has been tremendous in the digital transformations. So we have to understand that the technology is how we use and how we do, especially with the bottom line of ethics, and then only we can prosper. Of course, technology is a kind of a double-edged sword, as we say. If you are not following the ethical standards or the protocols that we have, the certain guidelines, we have certain frameworks, and if you are not following that, of course, there are certain elements, those who can take the advantages, and which is happening. And I would like to also highlight here that in terms of, especially in terms of the publications, we will discuss the UNESCO part, we'll discuss the IEEE ethics codes of conduct, we'll discuss how AI apps have been used and how ethically, what is the main aim of these apps and how we can use ethically, especially with the plagiarism. I will discuss all those things. But let me have a very clear understanding in terms of these three main pillars. So we have to keep these three main pillars into mind, and then we move towards the very important aspects, that is, of course, in the teaching part. Now let's focus, let's understand the ethical. What are the issues actually we face in digital teaching? You see, in digitalized world, nowadays, you see there are online, of course, we are connected to across the globe. We are connected with the scholars, with the mode of digital means. So this itself is a significant part that we can now convey our messages, not only physical, but digitally across the globe. This is a huge impact, because those researchers who are doing research, let's say in US or in Canada or in Australia or in Taiwan or in Singapore, now they can actually address students in Ghana or in Nigeria, in Zimbabwe. So this kind of a speed up live information in terms of digitalization is a very vital part. Now consider this, both aspects of positive and negatives are also there, because in the era of digitalization, we will talk about the fake versus fact, which always very important. So certain fake things are also spread, which is very, very unfortunate. Then how to cross check the facts, this is also a very challenging part. And that is why, if you see all the guidelines in for the ethical guidelines, we have seen that this is the primary part they will address. Always they will address about the fact checking of the news, the fact checking of the data, especially in the research context, the plagiarism, the self-plagiarism, the arbitration of the data, the manipulation of certain things, which of course it is not ethical. And now, of course, the publication part also we will discuss. So my understanding in ethical issues, especially in digital world, is very important, and it is a positive effect. It is actually in sync with our own success stories. If I'm connecting digitally to everyone, if I'm ethical in nature in my own work, if I'm propagating ethics, and if I'm propagating honest work, and I'm inspiring others, this is also very, very important. I'm inspiring the students to lead by an example. This is how we do things. to lead by an example, then of course the students, they will understand that, yes, okay, if you are doing certain things in this way, then the success is there. Look at this, always look at a successful people. And that is why I would like to reiterate here that make sure whenever you're exploring, please do not be in moral dilemma. I mean, yes, in online education, you have to be very, very apt. You have to be very, very careful as well that whatever the things that you are learning, either if you are learning a soft skill or you're learning a core skill, which is involved, let's say, learning of a language, C++, or if you're learning a Python, or if you're learning coding, or if you're learning maybe a linguistic, you're learning German language, you're learning Deutsch, you're learning French. So this is very important that whenever you are getting an online education, you should not be faced in terms of the moral dilemma. You should be very crystal clear. Make sure you choose your mentor correctly, and always make sure, and as a teacher, it is our prime duty that we will lead by example. Now, first of all, in terms of the ethical digital, you see, whenever there are certain practices of teaching in every school, colleges, universities, they have certain frameworks of teaching. Now, those who are from the teaching background, I think they can elaborate more, but I think the core foundation of the teaching is the relationship between the teacher and the listener or a learner. This is very, very important. Sometimes both the teacher and the student should be in a learning phase. They should learn from each other. But at the same time, it's teacher's responsibility to make sure that the learner or the student imparts certain set of skills. Now, there is one debate, which is a very prominent debate in 2020, I think 2019, before the COVID, and I was a part of a delegation from DAD, which is held, I think, in Sweden. And there they talked about that what is the most important factors to actually to calculate the progress of any institute, or what is the main aspect that we can look upon in a student so that we can hire that particular student in job sector. So this is a kind of a corporate affair. Now, the conclusions that we have drawn, that whenever any person has come up with certain set of skills, certain soft skills with ethics, very important. That means his personality must reflect. I mean, of course, it is not guaranteed that a person will be loyal or unethical, but in general, there are certain traits that you can always see that reflects honesty, integrity. And this will also reflect in his curriculum. This will also reflect in his own experiences whenever he is coming after the finishing his studies and move towards the corporate world, or move towards the livelihood, or be an academician, or join the corporates for the work. So in all cases, they are unanimously agreed that the main aspect we always see is not the certifications, is not that how many certificates you have done and you have, it is the main aspects is your, yeah. So the main factor we will consider, that is your personality contain morality. Do you have a good communication skills? Are you polite in nature? Do you understand things in such a manner that you will replicate? Or in terms of also ethics, you can analyze these things. So finally, my part is that if we can identify these practices and we can put it up in our own framework. Now, if you can look up the framework that has been set by the IEEE, we'll talk about this. The IEEE section has set up that how an engineering students or engineering institutes, carry out their teaching methods. Then, of course, we have UNESCO. Then we also, of course, we have other tools which has been utilized in framework. And in UNESCO, especially, they state that if you are in a teaching parameter, please make sure you have a very excellent, very in sync relationship between teacher and the learner. Then make sure that you always talk about examples, good examples in terms to motivate the students for to drive them in this tech, of course, in this digital age, the information is all available. Everyone has every information. So they can all look up it. But the main aspect is that how you can motivate our students in such a manner that they have the attribute of morality as well as integrity to the institute or in their life. So this is very, very important. What right, what wrong, it is not here philosophical thing that what is right for others may be wrong for others. So wrong for me. So this philosophy that we have to engage has to be one in ethics. And that is how a teacher can impart greater skills. It not only can maximize their potential individually, but it can also maximize the potential in a group. Of course, that is what we call an institution where people will come. And one another aspect I would like to talk about here, that you see that in terms of colleges or institutes, I think colleges and institutes are meant for two prime main attributes that we can learn. First thing is, which is very important, that is discipline. You can learn discipline. Now, if you are starting a college, let's say 8 in the morning, and you are finishing, let's say 5 o'clock in the evening, then you have to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning and until 5. So this routine, a schedule of anything, of course, it imparts a greater degree of discipline. Second part is, it is not to memorize everything. So in terms of human intelligence, the first prime base of human intelligence is to be intuitive, think critically. Now, this is the one aspect that I feel which is the most fundamental part, and that's how you build character. That's how you build ethics. That's how you build morality. The first fundamental part is, of course, the discipline must be there. And then the critical thinking, the intuitiveness, that's how you have to integrate in your university or a college or an institute. Now, if your college and a university or an institute does not have this very fundamental, very vital aspects, then I think whatever you're teaching to the students, it is not being inculcated into certain soft skills that is required when the student leave that institute. In the world of this, greater competition is there everywhere. There is so much competition. So we have to make sure that we have to prepare the students or learners in such a way that they will be ethically strong, morally right, and of course, they have learned the skills to the best of their ability. And then furthermore, they can polish these things. That is how what I feel the right thing to do, and the wrong things, which is of course, which is very antagonistic to what I have just said. Now, let me focus on another part, which is how it has changed. Now you see, I talk about the AI. I think recently in UK, one amazing thing has happened in the United Kingdom. One of the classrooms, one of the schools in London, in central London, I think, they have started, and you can pick up in Sky News, it is there in their YouTube as well. Now, there are two very important additions, that the entire classroom is now conducted by the AI teachers. Now, the world has been divided. Now, since the AI is penetrating into the health sector, into every aspect, the AI has been, have their presence, especially now in teaching as well. So the entire classroom is, every student has one monitor. It's called the personalized teaching. Now, when a student put his VR, he can talk to that particular GPT, that generated powered tool, and that tool will give you a very specific personalized kind of a teaching, where the tool can understand what are the needs of the particular teacher. Now, here is the dilemma. Here is the very famous line where we say that where is the human part involved? You are dehumanizing things, the emotions, the gravitas, which is very, very required to the students, and there is a connection, there is a relationship between a teacher and a learner. If that connection is not there, then it is dehumanized way. It is very fabricated and an artificially kind of generated a tool where and that sparks the debate, and I'm sure we can have that debate. But my question is here to everyone to think about is in terms of uh, if you're learning in a personalized manner, certain aspects, certain subjects. Of course, in online teaching, you're talking about the remote and a hybrid teaching models. Some of them are now, of course, because of the pandemics, because of certain things that the availability, the physical presence is not even required anymore. You can be on a screen, and you can impart certain things. But I feel that there must be something kind of a hybrid model where, of course, you can learn with the AI, but we should not at the same time dehumanize these things where there is no involvement of a teacher, to have a kind of a relationship with the students where they can even and of course, I'm talking about the personalized learning here. So in that cases, they are okay. But you have to see that, that video. You can put it on YouTube. It is a very interesting debate in the podcast. And I think even Sam also talk about in his podcast that sooner or later, you see the AI, especially in education, and of course now the digital era has been boomed, and it has been transformed into something which is very, very unique, very, very vital. Now we call it the AI era, the era of artificial intelligence. Soon, of course, with the machine learning, we have seen that in terms of artificial intelligence, general intelligence will take place. Then maybe in the futures to come, we have our own teachers at our own house, in the form of our robots. So these are the things which we are looking upon seriously. But I feel that still now we have to instigate these things very, very importantly, very, very important, that we have to make the context out of it and always make sure that the humanization must be involved. After all, our emotions, the ability to have a critical thinking, this only can be empowered when there are teachers around, when there are people around. You talk to them, you learn with their experiences. And in terms of the robot, there is a one machine which is it's a kind of a dead metal which we are talking about. But of course, you have to learn at the best. So, and of course, now they are also talking about certain apps that certain geniuses apps they will develop certain robots. So for example, if you want to learn, let's say, physics, or if you want to learn theory of relativity, you can directly go to a robotic from Albert Einstein, and Albert Einstein can teach you the entire theory of relativity. Same goes with all other Nobel laureates. But even the Nobel laureates are tweeting this, that let be there. The human part is very, very important to our existence, and we have to think about it. So finally, I think in terms of the risk assessment we have to do with that risk assessment. And sorry, and those who are those who are in this area, especially with AI automation, and those who are generating content with the AI, which is already there, the existing content, and the AI is giving them the more and more content. So these things, especially in today's world, I feel personally that in terms of the automation, yes, whatever there is which is monotonous in nature does not require any decision making aspect to it, or does not involve any creativity. Yes, we can automate, we can do the automation, and AI can help them. For example, just I think all the faculty members will agree with me. For example, if I want to have a literature review, I have one research problem. I find that, okay, this is my research problem. Now I have to prepare a problem statement. Now let's start with, for example, if I want to study the students' happiness, just I'm taking one random example. If I want to study a student's happiness, those students who are performing exercise, okay, those students who are performing exercise and those who are not performing any physical activity. So in that, if I want to study that, definitely I will involve a mixed method approach in that part. And especially, I will use AI to make sure that my entire literature review, the research gap that I want to highlight, that what something which is missing, I can do that with the form of AI. But yes, I cannot ask AI to build the entire problem statement or give us the data. Now, that might be unethical. And of course, it is unethical in nature where you always take the help of AI. You remember, AI is a tool which can do certain automation, certain monotonous work. The creativity, the decision making, the entire conceptual part must come from you. In that case, yes, there are certain guidelines where you can use the AI. And nowadays, of course, every time when you use AI in the publications, you have to declare before submitting your manuscript. So this is an excellent initiative, and we must see that our creativity should not be spoiled or should not be leaded by the AI. AI should always be the backstage. We should be always at the forefront runners, and with any monotonous work which is required just memorizing power, which is requiring just data storage, we can take the help of AI, because this guy is doing the data storage pretty well. He knows the things. I can ask him immediately. I can get the answer. And then I have to do with my own perspective, with my own creativity, I have to do the research. So this is very important. And plus, if you see, I mean, generally in terms of nowadays, the explosion of edtech tools are there. So much, there are so many tools. If you go to probably, and I will also show you because there are certain GPTs. When I go online, I will show you after the presentation. I will have one session where we are talk about the research part. But there are so much tools that we have built. We have built the GPTs for research, qualitative research, data analysis. We have built the GPT for journal finders, manuscript draftings. We have built the GPTs for coder. Eudoxia Coder is there, so you can do the coding. But there are certain things that you should keep in mind. It is not that you are, giving your entire work to the AI. So then the ethics are very prime. That is why we have to follow the general guidelines of morality, the ethics standards, and instead of, and I will also highlight in my next slide that if you see, people often talk about the guidelines, the general framework, universal framework. Now, I'm sure everyone heard about the OCID, which is very, I think 40 countries or 45 countries are following that code of conduct, ethics for using AI in teaching as well as in your research. Now, my question to everyone is that instead of making guidelines for the AI, why should not we make the guidelines for certain things which can be integrated into the curriculum, into the courses of our colleges, institute, which can incite or instigate certain set of skills. And here comes the very important and a vital part of all those who are in the higher ranks, like the principals, the vice principals, or the chairmans, or the chancellors, those who are in the highest rank, those who can implement certain framework in their own institution. Why not integrate certain frameworks which can increase the intuitiveness of a student, which can increase the creativity? They can do certain exercises, they can do certain courses, which can also they will understand these things, that what is fairness, what is transparency, how you are responsible from your how you are accountable. So why not these kind of certain guidelines will issue? Because you see, if you make guidelines, or you can't do this ChatGPT work, or you can't use this particular AI. I know there are certain universities in India, they are banning AI. I mean, but we have to be very realistic. We have to be very realistic. AI is here to stay. It is there. Now it is our responsibility that how we can prepare a certain kind of a core ethical principle. This is very, very important, because in our teaching, whenever any teacher comes to the college or to the institute or the university, whenever they encountered with their students, this relationship is very sacred. This relationship must involve these 4 points, and these 4 points can only enhance in a way that you can prepare certain curriculum, certain course flotations must be there for the students, for the learners, so that, and it is also, we can also go for the reverse engineering. We have to make sure that all our faculty members must also understand that how, because it should go both ways. It is not only that the students need to learn integrity, the students need to learn how, I should be responsible for my own acts, I should do it in the right manner, because the right manner, if I do, this will give me a greater success, rather than going to an unethical sources where the paths are very less, and I might get into certain trouble in a shortfall, and then my career can be in jeopardy. So it is also for the teachers. Teachers should be also, especially organizing these kind of faculty development programs where we talk about these things again and again, and where we can process that, yes, maybe I can float certain courses for the students, of certain set of students, or to give certain exercises which itself can make them responsible, accountable, and they, of course, learn, because you see, these traits are inbuilt traits. Also, they are very much dependent on the environmental factors. So these environmental factors, as a faculty members or as an institute, we need to understand that we should give them a proper niche to them, so that these things will prosper. And as I always say that, when a teacher loves, they will inspire the students, and when students are inspired, they automatically give the boost to the teacher. So this is kind of a cascade cycle which is always going on, and when this kind of a cycle is happens, then it is a remarkable achievements can be done. That is why you see many people, exceptional people, those who are having the highest standards of ethics, are leading the way, because their teachers told them in such a way that now this is the part of their personality. So now let's shift our part to the challenges, because you see, we have to discuss these challenges. Yes, everything is very fine, we have to be ethical in nature. We can't do even if the circumstances provided where we can infringe our our ethic standards, we should not. But we have to think about the challenges. Why to create such kind of an environment? That is the first question I will ask to everyone. We should not prepare these kind of niches which is very toxic in nature, especially in terms of the teaching part. And nowadays in digital era, recently we have concluded one international conference where people are talking about the students are talking about the informations. Now the Gen Zs and Gen Alphas are there. They talk about information, and someone told that if you want to project certain news to them, because they need the news very fast, but the sources which is they are getting the news. So there is certain kind of a gamification is required in certain kind of things, so that it attracts the youngsters for that particular news, and they can grasp it. And that is how what we are saying. So the patience and the attention span is very, very less. So we have to be very, very careful in that particular part. Now let's talk the first particular challenge which I want to highlight, very, very important, that is plagiarism, and of course academic dishonesty. Now you see, if you can go to social media, you can go to Facebook, you can go to LinkedIn, You can go to Zelp, you can go to TikTok or X or other handles or Instagram. You see many advertising in terms of let's say publication. Okay, so this is one very important part because everyone wants to have a publication, quick publication. And that's how this cancer of I mean, I personally feel this is an academic cancer where some people, those who are academically dishonest, they do heavy plagiarism. They then they will use zero GPT, then they humanize it, and then they publish it. And of course, once they publish it, then they will take money out of it. So for example, if I prepare one manuscript, okay, I will write that particular manuscript from the GPTs, I will humanize it, and there are so many tools. And then I will ask money from every of, let's say I have 10 authors in it. So I will ask money from every 10 authors that you can pay. Let's say if I want to pay 3,000 US dollars. So let's say if you are 10 people, okay, 300 USD for each. So kindly pay this money and I will publish this one and you will get one fantastic paper, even you don't know what is there in the paper. So this kind of a cancer, which is still there, we have to fight. I mean, I have seen these things in social media, which is very, very sad. Now, there comes the ethical challenge for us as an academician, as a scholar, as a researcher, as a student, as a learner. It is our prime responsibility because you see, if I am doing the hard work, putting the hard yards for several months, doing my hard research and preparing an excellent manuscript, and then after 6-7 months of my hard work, within 1 year I'll get one publication, that feels satisfying. That is actually the ethic part, and especially to the peers, because when the publication will go to the peers, they will honestly think about my data, my research, and if they agree, yes, this is a brilliant work, let's publish it. Then the readers, when they read it, they will feel that, yes, this is actually what the research is. And this is a continuum stretch which is going on for centuries and centuries. But nowadays, what is happening, you see, there are so many retractions are happening. Unfortunately, many good institutes, renowned institutes, renowned faculty members have retracted their paper because they are either academically dishonest, they have manipulated the data, or they have done zero GPT in terms of the plagiarism so that no one can detect their plagiarism. So all these things are there. But my humble request to everyone, let's pledge in this FDP today that we, no matter what, we will never ever plagiarize anything. We will give the due credit where it's due to others because they have done the hard work and they have make my path, research path, or an academics or in a book easier, so that I have learned something from that. And then I will also try to cascade it into something new, and I can give it to someone else and they can also learn. So this is kind of a relay race which is going on from centuries. Especially we should not ruin it by plagiarism and academic dishonesty. Now comes data privacy and surveillance. Okay, so this is one challenge I must feel that which is very, very vibrant. You must have seen that nowadays, I mean, some of the companies, big giants, I mean, pharma companies, I won't name them. And some of these companies I have visited also. There is one very big company in Leverkusen, if you visit. So I won't name the company, but you see, data privacy. Now they are collecting, or there are other companies, pharma companies, they're collecting the data for everyone, so their medical health record, their dental records, their diseases and everything they are monitoring. They're even monitoring what you are watching in particular medical apps, because nowadays we have everything for an app. So if I want something, okay, if I want analgesic, okay, go to my particular app, order something, and in the meantime, I will see something else. Okay, I'm getting my pain in my joints, so let's go for an analgesic or maybe a painkiller. So this entire data has been provided, the real-time data has been provided to certain companies, and then immediately after, you will see certain pop-up advertisements of certain specific brands. This is not only about the pharma industry, but in general. So data privacy is very, very important, although some people say that data privacy is a myth nowadays because nothing is private nowadays. If your fingerprint is there, a digital fingerprint is there, then of course and that is how there are so many scams. So we need to make stringent, very strict laws regarding the data privacy. Fortunately, in India, we have very strict data privacy laws, and we have an excellent surveillance laws. And I mean, those people who are working in, let's say, if you're working in US, if you're working in Tesla, there are certain incidents, and this, I think, recently I also came to know there are certain incidents happened in Iran or in other parts of the world where certain fake things have been encrypted into the surveillance part, and on the monitor you are seeing something which is not happening in the actual ground. Now, I don't want to name the entire thing, but which is very controversial, but these things are happening. So your surveillance data has been go to certain people who are not ethical in nature, and then you are of course certain facilities which is very, very vibrant, very important to the country's part. This is also there. So in India, we are pretty much fortunate that we have very strict laws for data privacy and surveillance, but we have to make sure that the Europe, US, as well as African continent must also prepare certain policies. Although there is one very important aspect, and those students who are into the web designing or in the hosting, or they are preparing their websites. I'm sure if you are preparing your website, the first thing, for example, if I'm preparing my website, I want to add certain pages, want to add certain things. One page which is very, very important: privacy rules. The data privacy rules or the data policies, these things, ethical policies, they must be there in your page of a website. Otherwise, you will sometimes you will not get the SSL certification if there is no data privacy which is written on your website. So these things are very important, and we need to discuss this. Then comes very, very important part, that is the accessibility. I talked about this accessibility already, that everything should be easily available nowadays, just for the phone click. And this is what we see. People now, I have seen certain professors talk about that now, we don't trust any of the sources of the news. So we'll ask the ChatGPT, what do you think, which is the good source for this particular information? I mean, this is and then my question was that how I mean, even the ChatGPT can be making certain mistakes. So you have to be, because there are so much influx of information, the actual information or the real information from the real credible sources are very hard to find. And that is why you have to make certain mechanisms, especially in terms of digital divide, what we call. We should make everything accessible, but it should not be the fake part, so which is very important. Then comes the cyberbullying. I mean, you must have heard about this cyberbullying. I mean, many of the bigger giants, corporates, companies, they are doing that, and especially to certain parts of Africa, and certain continents. And how they're doing it, they are actually promoting their own part, which is restricting others to manufacture or in service sectors. So this is one very controversial part, but we need to discuss this cyberbullying. And of course, you have seen cyber scams. Nowadays, the cybersecurity is very, very important. And then, especially in the classroom part, you see, when we have this edtech tools nowadays, we are doing the courses from Germany, you're doing the courses from MIT, you're doing the courses from certain incubator in Silicon Valley, you're doing certain courses from London, you're doing courses from Berlin. So the digital classroom also becomes very challenging. So we have to understand, especially this particular part. So let's discuss these particular aspects of the challenges as well. Now, here comes one case study, and then I will move towards, towards the research part quickly, so that we can have the discussion as well in this particular aspect. Now, let me show you one case study, which is, I found it very interactive, very, very interesting. For example, if a student submit an AI generated assignment, which is very common, very, very common, so many people are using ChatGPT, Zero GPTs, they are using the paid versions, they are either using Grok or they're using DeepSeek for their assignments. Now, as a faculty member, this is very, very important. They share the student data without their consent as well. So my discussion part is that in both the cases, let's say if a student submit the AI generated assignment and you know it, because you see, let me tell you, if you're having an introduction, if you're having an introduction, and if I see certain things and I say, for example, if someone giving an excellent presentation, I will say, what a marvelous presentation. This moved me. I learned a lot from this presentation. And then suddenly you say that, in the landscape of this emotion of wonderfulness will blessed upon. So the thing is that if you can also say the things with the AI ChatGPT version, or you can say what you really feel. That is how we do things. That is how we do the assignments. But even if the faculty members are sharing the student data without the consent, this also comes under the ethical issues. So in both cases, we must understand we have to develop. It's okay if student is giving an AI assignment generated by ChatGPT, no issues. But the real core part is, does the student understand what he has learned? If he or she has learned something out of it, that how maybe a prompt engineering he can learn or she can learn, or maybe what kind of a creativeness he can put into the assignment using ChatGPT, but the creativeness must come from him or her. And similarly for the faculty members, of course, we cannot share our students' information. If some students are weak, students are excellent, some students are, we know that they are cheating on someone. So in certain assignments, so these things definitely we have to discuss and avoid. Now, let's have a balancing part. Let's move towards the fake and the, this fabric of things. As I already said, that in a particular digital tools, nowadays in digital tools, which I mean that there are so many course rooms, and of course, even Zoom that we are right now in an excellent tool for propagating propagating, especially TeamViewer is there. Adobe has also jumped into it. Even now we will, of course, the Microsoft is always there. So all these tools that which we are encouraging, please make sure that we'll use it for the productivity and the positiveness in terms of the use of these digital tools. Now, finally, we have to make sure that incorporating, as I have already stated, this particular aspect in our curriculum. Basically, in our curriculum, we have to make sure that we'll involve certain things which is very, very important, especially for ethics. Make sure that in every engineering colleges or in any colleges or universities, there are short courses of let's say ethical use of AI, ethical use in research, ethics, ethics in education. All these ethics must be taught, must be discussed in open forums, must be glamorized, that how you can use this wonderful part and you can be morally correct, and then only you can have an excellent success, with examples of certain people who who never take the shortcut, but they always make sure that they will get the success with ethics. So these things we have to move about, and especially the role of institutions are very important. The prime sorry, the prime part is that in these ethical policies, conducting regular training programs like what we are doing now, monitoring evaluations, and especially ethic and research publication. I will discuss this particular aspect during the publication time. So these things are very important, and I think the initiative has taken by the TMI Engineering College. This is wonderful. of course, in the collaboration with Global Ethics South Asia and from Bangalore, they have taken, this is a wonderful thing. Please discuss about these things. Only then our students, our teachers, the leaders, those who are here, they can actually make the difference. And if the students are, they can understand one thing, that in life, if there is no ethics, no morality, you are not going to have a greater success. Because if you look at the successful people, those who are your role models, they have done in the similar way, following the ethics and doing the things in a proper manner. And now in the resources part, my personal request that please do go to UNESCO website. Here there is the guidance of generative AI. So UNESCO has launched a general framework. I'm not saying that every point I agree upon, no, but what I feel is that in general, this is a very good guideline, especially in education. Now, how AI can be taught in education, which is completely different, as the first example I have given you in UK, where the entire classroom is a screen, and the VR glasses are on, and then you are just talking to your GPT, and your GPT is responding. And after 1 week of GPT response, then you will get the assignments, because then by then the GPT will understand your everything, that where are you weak, where are you good. So they're asking certainly, qualitative questions and quizzes and everything. So my part is that please read this particular aspect, especially for educators. Of course, IEEE Code of Ethics are very good. And of course, every time whenever we go for any plagiarism check, now, of course, Trinitine and Grammarly, why we are using these tools? Trinitine and Grammarly, we use these tools because they focus, they will make sure that everything we can do ethically. Yes, we can, if we don't know the scientific writing particular aspect, we can learn these things. We can learn and we can take the help of Grammarly. But it is not like that we have written everything and we are taking the help of Grammarly, and we are taking the help of the entire of Quillbolt, and then we are paraphrasing it. And so we have to understand it, that our creativity is always ahead. Everything else will will move in the back seat and drive with us. So finally, before going to the conclusion, I would like to now start with the publication part, and quickly we'll move forward to let's talk about, I will give one fundamental aspect, because after all, as a researcher, I think, and every faculty member must understand this, that how we can move towards a research progress. If you are planning that you want to go for a qualitative research, let's say in education or in AI or any field. But today I will discuss only particular aspect of, let's say, education, and specifically on those who are doing the qualitative research. Now, let me tell you first that in terms of qualitative research, nowadays, of course, I'm heading one publication house as well, where you can publish your books, and we have the journals, and I'm, of course, advocating always free publications. Now, primary important is that we have to understand, as I said, the cancer part, because where everyone is talking about that, you don't need to write anything. The ghost writers are there writing your manuscript, writing your book. There are people who are taking money for fast publication in clone journals, in predatory journals. You must be aware of that. My suggestion is, whatever the publication house you're going to, are you going to Springer and Web of Science? You're going to, there are certain set of good publication houses. I think Scopus is the largest one, which we can say. There are other publication houses. There is American Chemical Society. There is Sage Publications. There are Wiley. There are so many publication houses. They are doing wonderful job to propagating our research ethically, which is very important. They have a good peer review process, which is very integral part of the main ethics standards. If there is no peer reviews, for example, if you are giving an examination and no one is checking your exam, it's just like whatever you're writing. If you're writing a poem, or if you're writing a storyline of any cartoons, even then you are getting 100 out of 100. So peers, the examiners must be, it's a must in our research publications. So my general idea is that, first of all, in terms of these kind of things. For example, if you see in chat GPTs, if you go to the chat GPT, you can explore these chat GPTs. There are so many chat GPTs are available. But today I would like to discuss what we are doing. And we have to understand that we have prepared so many GPTs from Edoxia, but make sure that you use this in an ethical way. It is not like that you're asking Research Genius to create one manuscript and I will send that manuscript to a publication house. No, it does not work like that. Yes, if you have specific idea, then you can take that idea. For example, today I will discuss very short, and I would like to have the comments from other once we go for the discussion part. For example, if I will, let's say in the previous a few time back, I have given you one example of a qualitative research where a student, I want to study the mental health, or let's say mental happiness of a student. So if I want to study mental happiness of a student who are doing physical exercises as compared to those who are not, doing any physical exercise. Now, for these physical exercises may involve sports, may involve gym, may involve anything, but it must be physical, may involve running. And those who are not doing anything. So those who are just watching their mobile from morning till evening. So this is my idea. It must be something interesting, but this is a very qualitative approach. As now how, and if I do now how I will do a very simplistic research part where a problem statement is that, okay, this is my research question. Okay, which is my target audience? Let's say my target audience is those students from 18 to 23. Okay, let's target only students from college. Okay, somehow that is the age group is there. Male, female, both, does not matter. Then what I'll do is I'll prepare a questionnaire. Now I can ask ChatGPT also that, the same thing, I can put it in a prompt and I can ask ChatGPT to create me a questionnaire. He will prepare me a questionnaire. Depending upon that questionnaire, I will give one analysis. I can maybe do a statistical analysis, and I will say that, okay, those people are doing exercises. They are mentally very happy. Their mental index, the index of happiness that we are quantifying, the measurable part is there. And there are so many models are there available. So I can say that, okay, but this is a very general thing. Everyone is doing that, nothing novel, no novelty in it. Now, how to create the similar concept with a quantitative research edition that is a mixed method approach? Now, for example, if let's say, there is one linear model, I'm sure everyone is familiar with this particular model, and we often use this model. And this is the most simplistic one so that everyone can easily understand. Now you see there is one very linear model, that is y is equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3, and then it goes to xn. Okay, so this is one linear model in mathematics. Now, for example, if I'll say that the y is actually my index of happiness, okay, index of happiness. Now, and my x1, x2, x3 are the factors that influence happiness. Okay, so this is a very general, very linear model. Okay, now if I put this particular aspect, now I want to study index of happiness, plus I have so many factors. Now these factors I have to create, I have to analyze. This is where the critical thinking comes. I will not ask ChatGPT. I will go and check what are the critical factors which is very, very important in terms of the student's happiness, which I want to study. And then I can put these factors, these 3 or 5 or 7, whatever the factors are. And then I will ask the ChatGPT to create a let's say a questionnaire or a model. And does any model, already existing model is there? so that this is my literature review. I want to know if already existing model is there. If someone has already done, there is no meaning of doing the same thing and wasting my time. I want to do something which is very unique, very new. I'm just giving you a very basic part. This is not how actually the research question arrives. But in general, if you are just taking an example, I think to understand, then it is very much applicable. So now, if I ask ChatGPT, let's ask Research Genius that this is my model. Okay, this is my model. This is my model to study the mental happiness for the students from age 18 to 23, both genders, so it will not discriminate. Can you also give me a closed-ended questionnaire along with 3 factors that influence it positively? Now I'm just taking randomly, I'm putting this one. So, and you can make it more structured also. Okay, you can make it more structured. I have just taken some random example. Now, here you see a ChatGPT is giving me, yes, there is very linear model is there. You can focus on 3 empirical predictors. He has given me 1 social support, academic satisfaction, and physical well-being. Okay, so if there is a social support, that is a good, according to ChatGPT, it is good for happiness. Academic satisfaction. Now, what is the derivative of academic satisfaction? X2 is the fulfillment and the progress of academic pursuit. Now, this can be because ChatGPT is very poor in common senses. Okay, so and that this is how we have to relate him, because it is very poor in common sense. Now, the third thing is he has given me physical well-being. General health, see, exercise habits. Okay, this is one of the prime factors I'm taking as well. Now, then he has given me the entire questionnaire, and now he's saying that do you want to a regression on X1, X2 to predict Y, or like correlations he can give, and then he's he's asking me that do you want any SPSS, Excel, Python, or other things you can analyze the data. So my point is, and similarly, if I can ask, if are there any existing models available for the same? Now, I want to check, is there any existing models are available where the people from the qualitative background are studying in terms of the mixed method, they are studying these particular aspects which I want to study. Okay, so he's saying, yes, there are certain models are there. PERMA model is there. Then Oxford Happiness Questionnaire, another model, inventory model is there. Then subjective happiness scale. Okay, this is another one. Well-being, 5 items and 6-point scale. Okay, so all these existing are already there, and now it's very clear. Now I don't have to go to the Science Direct and I have to search everything, I have to read everything. So the time period has been lessened. But the creativity and my particular aspect, what I want to do must be there. It is not like I'm asking ChatGPT, can you tell me the ideas? No. Then what is the use? So a lot of people will say that, you are asking, okay, let's ask ChatGPT and they will tell, no. It is what you believe, and then you can refine the things with the ChatGPT. The ethics must be there, the morality must be there. And even if I don't want to use ChatGPT, I think I'll be doing this particular course of action maybe for 6 months or 7 months. But with the ChatGPT, I can be pretty much faster in nature. And that is all I need. I want to be faster in nature. I want to publish my work. I want to be the first one, rather than, because remember, everyone else is working in the same part. It's it's in the entire world, someone is working on the same thing. As our professors always say, that make sure whenever you do the research, publish it immediately. Do not wait for 4 months, because then you will realize, someone in Denmark, someone in Norway, someone in maybe in US they have already published this one. So now I have to remodel it, rework it again. So this is how it works. Now, finally, coming back to the final conclusions, and then the floor is open for the discussion. I will move to the ethical part of conclusion is that, yes, as I said, timeless. The dimension of the time does not hold water, especially what I feel ethics. Ethics are timeless. So we have to induce it either in teaching, and all the faculties must lead by an example. Very, very important. The morality enhances credibility and trust. Very important. If there is a credibility, then of course there will be a trust. If there is a trust factor involved, everything will fall in place. Remember, as I always say, that in the technological era, you can amplify your values only if you teach them well. Otherwise, there are so much ramifications. People having excellent intelligence are working in a wrong directions. So we have to understand that it is not about how you gather the information. It is how you have, how, as a teacher, we have taught our students, prepare one good relationship with them, and then the sky is limit for no one, actually. So thank you so much. I would like to extend my warm, sincere thank to Professor Joseph Dustin, sir, who has given me this wonderful opportunity, and as well as the organizers, especially Globe Ethics and our engineering college. So what a wonderful part. And now let's discuss, because this is very important. After listening me patiently, I'm sorry if I'm extended my part. Generally, I always give 15 to 20-minute presentation, at the max 20-minute, because my entire focus is very live demonstrations. But this I have enjoyed a lot. Even I have learned today so many new things while researching about this particular aspect. So many things I have also learned, and I will propagate it every time, everywhere. Thank you so much. Now the session is over to you, and we will have the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sukhvinder Singh, and I feel nourished after having listened to your presentation. Also, I was having the feeling of reading a book. No, how the flow goes when you read a book, so rich and very brilliant. And then you're also close to saying that you've done a lot of research. So that is a message that everyone must do research, and that is lifelong learning. And nearly 200, more than 200 participants already started appreciating your, and they have mentioned the one particular word, very informative, highly informative. And with regard to AI, I'm really thankful to you that you made the participants to say that it is very informative, because you may agree with me that when you were young, when I was young, there was adult literacy program. No, it is to make the adult population read and write, because a lot of fraudulent practices, making them give the thumbprint cheating.
Yes.
And then today, I think even kind of, I also, even though I have 3 master degree, yet I feel that, I'm illiterate with regard to AI. And then the speed of AI is very high. And so one really must take the pain of learning it, especially the teachers, because the students are faster than the teachers. And then we live in a country where we have language-based states, and then the gaps are very wide because of the caste system, the class that exists, and also the rural community and the tribal belt. So even today, internet is not available, but we speak about artificial intelligence, but they also should be included in this mainstream, because, we also from the government side have the plan of Viksit Bharat 2047, by 2047, 100 years of independence. So they are aiming at a developed India. So this is also, I think, a contribution towards that one. You have made everyone think, and then all the participants have learned so much. So I liked your presentation. PPT is very beautiful and colorful with a lot of information and knowledge. Plus, I'm fascinated by the Atlas, AI Atlas that is running behind you as a screen saver. So everything, together make the product, look perfect. So thank you for taking the pain and spending your precious time with us today. And there are so many questions. I am really not sure because I came to know that you have a meeting at 7:30. So you
Yeah.
could tell me how much time you are able to take the question. Accordingly, we will manage.
I mean, we can take like another 5 to 6 minutes because I have to have another meeting for our programs. But definitely we can discuss because I feel we have to discuss these things, the questions that if they're having, especially one thing I talked about the literacy. Now I think we have to make sure everyone's responsibility, those who knows AI, to teach their friends, your colleagues, at least simple basic things of AI, but make sure you're learning with the right to the right person, because otherwise everything will be very, very difficult. And it is not that difficult either, to be very honest. And we can take the questions if there are any. Over to you, ma'am. If there are any questions, we can discuss that.
Yes, I'll just read probably, I think, and then you can answer whichever you feel that, of great importance. And then in this digital era, the term ethics and implementation are seen to be challenging one.
Yeah.
Most of times, everyone use AI platform to find a solution or answer without any effort. Is AI platform will function with ethics or without ethics?
Okay, this is very, very interesting, very interesting question. But I think in the first part of your question, where you talked about the most of the times everyone is using AI platforms, so this is an assumption which is maybe correct, I think. But what I can say is that whenever we are preparing an AI, let's say, for example, if we are preparing an AI and we are putting in a platform, there are so much scrutiny will be done in your AI. It is not like that you are just preparing any app and you're coding it and you're preparing it and running the beta versions and you're just putting it in ChatGPT. But still, I feel that the real information communication must be come from the authentic sources rather than and these authentic sources, we should not be heavily dependent on AI platforms. Yes, AI platforms are very useful where something which is already stored, and if you are making any decision making data, if you are collecting that, then I will advise, no, you please do not do that. Anything which is there in the form of information, which is data driven information, then definitely yes, AI can help you, because after all, I mean, now the recent LLM, I think for Croak is 2023, and maybe for DeepSeek it is the same. Yeah, I don't know if I'm correct in that one. I have to check. But if every data until 2023 December has been there in the LLM models and there in the GPT. Now, if something you can ask from 2024 or 2025, it might be problematic with even for a simplest AI. But now we are moving towards the AI, general intelligence is coming up, which is very, very intriguing. Robotics are coming up, as well as there are certain scenes, and that is why I say, please utilize your time for a correct information gathering. Do not waste your time to consume waste information. So this exercise, if you can do a lot of good.
Thank you, sir. The next question is AI suitable to teach all subjects in future?
I mean, I'm not sure about that. Because if you talk about certain subjects in social sciences, or in fact, I don't know because there are certain apps now. I think 2 days ago, we have seen certain apps are developed that you can talk to. Historical apps are there. I think this app name itself is a history or something like this. And you can talk to Napoleon. So of course, the data they have integrated is the letters of Napoleon. So if you ask anything to the Napoleon, he will answer it in the form of those letters. So I don't know if what teaching actually means, that can be driven in terms of the artificial intelligence they are propagating it. But yes, analytical part, yes, the AI can teach you very well. If you want to learn, let's say, and as I also said, that there are certain apps where if you want to learn relativity, you can switch on the Einstein part, and there is emoticons are there. So you switch to Einstein. So the Einstein, of course, an AI generated male voice will be there, and you can have the linguistic part also involved. You need a British accent and this and that. And in the free version, it is only two, but in the paid version, they have even linguistics parts are involved. Japanese are there, Deutsch is there, English is there, even Chinese is there. So these are, of course, Indian languages need to be, and that is why in India we need our own version of ChatGPT where multilingual part must be involved. But I don't think that all the subjects, because human aspect in certain subjects is very, very important. Anything which is data-driven, analytical, yes, AI can do that.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, recently I come across one information that one humanoid and it can actually teach in 90 languages. And then already in the newspaper, you can see that, people are being laid off in different, like AI related software companies. And then 90 languages, one humanoid. That
Yeah.
means if there are, two, three humanoid in one institution, I think it can do several work. But I also sense that a new type of work is, getting generated because of this AI. That means there is, gap between the existing skill of the teachers and then what is going to be expected in the future with regard to AI. So what is your advice for the teachers so that they are prepared when there is a change? Because people are having the fear that the teachers will be losing jobs if humanoids are placed for teaching.
Yeah, I mean, this is very interesting because you see nowadays even the real-time translations for every head of state is done by certain companies real time. So there is AI involved. But imagine this: if our honorable Prime Minister is sitting with another honorable president, they are talking about, and he's talking in Hindi and he's talking in Deutsch, and the AI is telling something different. So this is a huge thing that we need to consider. Of course, they are all ethically monitored and controlled. But there's one quotation from the head of NVIDIA. He said that, you see, no one will lose the job to AI, but definitely you will lose the job if you don't know the AI. So this particular part is very important. If you know, now the simple thing is, you have to make sure that whatever the information, especially my suggestion to all the teachers is that you can install ChatGPT version on your mobile and do time to time make sure that you check on the apps, rate the apps, review the apps, what you feel is right or not. This will help you not only learn the part very easily, but also especially there are certain things that you can easily assume. If student has done the ChatGPT work in their assignment, or if has done a zero GPT work in assignment, we can easily find it out. It is not rocket science. But the thing is that you need to be aware of certain things which is there only in AI. And now, of course, the content creation, those who are from advertising, those who are from corporate world, those who are studying digital marketing, those who are studying management, economics, and all those things. So in terms of that also, please make sure that you, and of course, you have to check that whatever the app you are using must be approved. There is, of course, in the website, there is a government website is also there, that there are certain apps approvals which is needed, because nowadays to launch your app in a Google Play Store is a marathon. There are so many restrictions, and those who have launched their own apps, they know that there are so much certification, so much things are required to just launch a simple app. So now, of course, the government is also taking control of it, that not everything can be, but of course, as a teacher, as an educator, especially for us, we need to install our own ChatGPT and work on it every day. Utilize 10 to 15 minutes, learn something new, and record it. This is very important. I always do that. I record my things so that after 1 week or 2 weeks or after 1 month, I will analyze, okay, what I have learned, what I have recorded. So all those things help in terms of information and to give the correct information as well.
Thank you so much, sir. I think 6 minutes is over.
Yeah,
And
ma'am,
for
I
your
think
information, today we had nearly 500 participants attended the event, and right now also it's 458. And I could see participants from Oman, Congo, and Bangladesh, and also all parts of the country, like from the south, the North India, Northeast, Northwest, and Central India. So I'm really delighted that your knowledge is shared with all the higher education institutions from all the states of India and also outside the country. And it's an honor that we had you today. And thank you so much for sharing your experience, expertise, and your precious time with us. And today's the first time, in fact, I'm listening. I feel sad. I should have listened to your presentation before. But it's not late because we keep organizing partnership program like this. And definitely, I would like to have you again on Globethics and DMA platform. And also, whenever we organize programs. And I'm also looking forward for a chance to meet you in person. And it's time for me to thank you. And on behalf of DMA Engineering College and Globethics South Asia Center, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to you, sir, for delivering an enlightening address on teaching ethics in the digital era, balancing teaching and morality, and your insightful perspectives on navigating the complexities of ethics in the digital age have undoubtedly enriched our understanding and sparked meaningful reflection. Your expertise and experiences have shed light on the importance of integrating morality into teaching practices, and we are grateful for the time you took to share your knowledge with us. Thank you, Dr. Singh, and I definitely look forward for a chance to meet you again. And also, it is time to close the webinar. I take this opportunity to thank DMA Engineering College and also all the participants from the country, from India and also outside. It was a pleasant, meaningful learning today. I'm sure you all learned a lot, and we concluded day one of our faculty development program. And I express my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Sukhvinder Singh, once again for sharing his valuable insight and expertise with us. Your thoughtful questions and active participation have made this session engaging and enriching. And dear participants, many good speakers are there in the pipeline, and please join tomorrow at 6 p.m. sharp. And we close for today, and it will continue. And see you all tomorrow at 6 p.m. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much,
for
ma'am. Finally, I would like to also thank to Professor Joseph Dustin, sir, to you, ma'am, as well as Dr. A. Albert Raj, the principal of DMI Engineering College. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'll always be ready, more willing, whenever you need me, because let's discuss, let's propagate, and do take care of your health, everyone. And please stay focused. And remember, there is only one thing that we separates from us to everyone is our ethics and our morality. So with this, I would like to conclude. Thank you. Thank you so much, man. Namaskar.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.